Welcome to Ascend to Joy. I'm Christine Elwert, and I'm here to talk to you about this process of life and life more abundantly. Last week I talked about change, and I'd like to talk to you about a specific type of change today that has a lot to do with what I do now in my own life and for and with other people. And it's a change that is called by the energetic community Ascension. And it means something very, very specific as I'm talking about it, because it is a process in which we go from one state of being to another state of being. And it is a path to the fruits of the Holy Spirit of love, peace, and joy. You know, there's a lot to be said about intention. There's a lot to be said about focus. And I think it'll take us to certain places. But intention without energetic support might be a little frustrating. It might feel like spinning your wheels. So I just want to, I'm an author. This book, Ascend to Joy, Transform Your Life Through Living Kabbalah, and the kind of ascension that I'm talking about. And then I want to share with you an absolutely incredible experience that I just had last weekend. So in my book, in the glossary, this is the definition that I said for ascension. Ascension, the heightening of one's consciousness to a higher level. We ascend into a higher dimension of understanding, and we have access to much more knowledge as we ascend higher. The ascension process that we experience in this Kabbalah is through the tree of life. As we ascend up the tree, learning about the tree and its different aspects, we expand and grow in the understanding of life and life's mysteries. It sounds a little airy-fairy, doesn't it? But it's actually very practical. And it is a way of transforming life into a daily joyful experience. So let me tell you about what happened last weekend. My husband and I can't say enough about having a partner who is on a spiritual journey with you. Because to share at that level is, there's no comparison. The level of intimacy in being able to share your spiritual experiences is absolutely profound. Anyhow, we both went to Naples, Florida last weekend for what is called the final ascension experience in the Kabbalah, the Universal Kabbalah, that is presented through the Modern Mystery School. Thank you, Founder Goodney, for bringing this to this planet. And we had an experience of actually being able to meet God face to face. And if you think you aren't transformed by that, you are absolutely wrong, because you can't help but being transformed. It was a beautiful weekend. It was filled with experiences, not just teaching and knowledge, but experiences, because it's the experiences that help us to take knowledge and understanding and move it into wisdom. It grounds it in, it helps us to sort through, and we're able to see things from a different perspective. And so we had these experiences. We learned a lot, for sure. I learned a lot about me, and I learned a lot about how I relate to other people. And I learned a lot about the wisdom of seeing people as spiritual beings. You just don't relate to them the same. When you see a divine being in front of you, your level of respect, your level of love, your level of awe changes. And you're able to relate to that human being as who they really are. So back to my experiences. The final experience of the weekend, 10 months, it's supposed to be a 10-month study, right? This one was like 16 months because of COVID, because it's an energetic experience and you need to be present to be able to have the transfer of that energy and the change that happens in your energy body. So the final experience involves building your own personal bridge over which you're going to walk over your own abyss, your unconscious, and over all the things that are stored there, all the things that are hiding there. And be able to take that bridge, which is made of the most beautiful things, the qualities of you and qualities of life, like love, peace, and joy. And then crossing into what is called the supernals, which is the top of the tree of life. And it involves 3 of those sections, 3 of those sephiras: Bina, Chokmah, Keter. And then being able to experience and encounter God. This is my 3rd time that I've done this particular study. And the very first time I remember, which happened in Toronto, I remember crossing the abyss and halfway across, waiting for me, holding space for me, was Jesus, with the assurance that I was on the right path, the path to my ascension. And I remember going across and I met this being of light who at that point I didn't have a lot of experience with. Shekinah, however you pronounce it, the feminine aspect of Creator and beyond anything I had ever experienced. And in that time, I was taken into the womb of God. And I experienced a rebirth of who I am. It was amazing. And it was transformative because it lasted and lasted and lasted for years. Always showing me different aspects of who I really am, not the programming, not the mind chatter, none of that, but the divine being that I am. Well, this time, I had, previous to the actual ascension process, I had an experience with Bina, which is another feminine aspect of God, Mother God, the Divine Mother. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to go and I'm going to experience Bina. And I got across the bridge, and with a little bit of trepidation. I don't think that's all bad, honestly. I wouldn't be taking it seriously, I don't think. Anyhow, that's me. And when I got to the other side, I was shocked because I again was faced with Shekinah. This incredible being of light, this pure love. And I was like, oh, I'm just going into the embrace of this incredible energy. But instead, when I got there, she turned me around to look at the bridge. And I looked at the bridge. And then I was taken to an aerial view, more like a satellite view. And I looked down on the earth, and I could see all these beautiful human light beings with their own bridge in a pattern, a starburst pattern, laid out on the earth. And in the center was an enormous circle. It probably covered 25% of the earth. And all their bridges were going to that central circle. In my imagination and in my sight, I imagined it to be a galactic something, a galactic energy, and that each bridge was a pathway to that particular focal point on Earth at that time, which was Christ consciousness. And I saw all these beautiful bridges that people had created with their lives, with their energy. And I saw each of them become a door holder, a gatekeeper. And then I saw millions and millions and millions of people crossing these bridges into that central circle, that place. It was a place of pure love. And I thought, is this the coming of Shambhala? And I sense that it is. So I'm inviting you to discover how to build your bridge, not just for you, but for thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of other people. To move from this place that we are in the matrix, into a foundation upon which Shambhala will be built. That was the vision that I had. And I'm still astonished by it. There's a part of me that awakened in that experience. Now, I'll give you one small example that's happened this last week. It's winter in Michigan. Okay, right now I'm looking out and I see this beautiful snow all over the ground, but there's not a lot of vegetation. But we happen to have a lot of vegetation in our house. And part of my awakening, if you will, my level of consciousness has been that I can sense the plants in our home. An example of this is that I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and I felt a call, if you will, an energetic call. And I went downstairs to where my newer hydroponic units are, in which I have planted some pepper plants. And they looked so sad. I was like, what is going on here? And so I checked it all out, and I discovered that they actually needed a lot more water and some nutrients, and I was able to attend to them. That's a totally new experience for me. I've always loved plants and flowers, but I've never been able to sense what they need. Now, my husband has always been able to sense what they need. He has this incredible orchid garden, but I have not. And so this new awakening was exciting. And then this little tray that I have in which I am growing sprouts, I removed a top layer, and I literally, over a couple of hours, watched these sprouts grow in this tray. I could almost hear them. I could almost hear the music of them. I know that sounds different, or maybe you've had that experience. But what does it lend to my life today? It lends a sensitivity to all of the life around me, an appreciation of the care that is required from me, and the connection to that cycle of life. I have a lot more to say about that, and I have a lot more to say about Ascension, but I'm kind of waxing long right now. And so I'm going to leave you with this thought. What kind of awareness, what kind of ascension do you want to have happen in your life? Identify that. Is it an opening of your heart? Is it a connection to your soul? Is it your ability to sense and see and experience the divine within yourself and with other people? Is it the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom? What kind of ascension are you looking for? And if you have not yet begun, then contact me or someone close to you and engage in a process called life activation, connecting you to your higher self, and begin the journey. So, again, my name is Christine Elwert, and today I am fully alive. And I invite you to join me. And I hope to talk to you soon. Have an incredibly joyful day. And I'll talk to you soon.